Hey, you like books? Hey, you like books? No? What are you, illiterate? I got a book. I never know how to start these videos, so I just like spout shit that comes to my mind and hopefully it works. Well, I should start off with, I shouldn't have read this book. No, well, when 2020 started and all that debacle was going on, it's still going on, at first I thought I was like, oh crap, I could just, sit around and play video games and do YouTube all day long. I could just sit around and do YouTube all day long and no one wouldn't be the wiser. But I quickly realized that, that simply wasn't the case. I was gonna be very burnt out on YouTube very quickly, which was what happened. If you notice, I haven't been uploading as much just because I can't. I get too burnt out. I got way too burnt out on YouTube because that's all I could do during quarantine and all that shit. And I had to find some new hobbies, and one of the hobbies I picked up was reading. I fucking, not gonna lie, I really, guys, reading is cool. I honestly enjoyed reading when I was a kid. I really liked reading as a kid, but I was one of those students that was like, listen, miss, listen. I really like this book, teacher. I really like this book, but because you told me to read it, that's gonna be a no for me. I was a little shit. I was a little shit in school, and even though I really enjoyed reading, I just told the teachers to fuck off. But I recently picked up reading again, and I've been really enjoying it. I picked up A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin, and I was always ashamed that I never read a Song of Ice and Fire because I love George. George is a phenomenal author, and he seems to me just a really chill dude. But I've never picked up his by far most famous series he's ever written. I was always ashamed of that, but I finally did it. I bought the whole set. I bought the entire collection. He still needs to release 2 more books, so but I just finished it, and I kind of regret. At first I regretted picking up this book. Because, look at it, that is a chonker. That is a chonker of a book. And reading something like this for my first read since high school was a fucking pain. It was a pain in the ass at first. I eventually got used to it. But look at these. Look, I don't know if you can see it. But look. They're basically Bible scriptures per page. And there's 800 pages. I don't regret it. I honestly don't regret it. It's a phenomenal book. It's a great fucking book. It's hard to explain this book, but the main A point is basically not what I expected. It's basically a murder mystery set in a fantasy setting, which is just so cool to me. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a murder mystery set in like medieval times, which it just works. It just works.
It works. It just worked.
The driving point of the story is the Hand of the King, which is basically the vice president of the king. He helps out the king and all that shit. Mysteriously dies. He just gets sick and dies. And the king goes off looking for a new Hand of the King. And the only person he could think of is his best friend, Ned. Ned Stark. He's a honorable Lord of the North. My favorite fucking character. I love Ned. That's the main part of the story. It's him going to the King's Landing and figuring out what the fuck's going on there. That's the main point. And then that's another part of this fucking story. Each chapter is set in a different point of view. So each chapter you jump back and forth between characters a lot. There's a character way up in the north, and then there's a character down below in the south, and there's another character in the south, and there's a character on another fucking continent, and you're checking up on what they're doing, even though you don't really give a fuck. You just want to figure out what the fuck Ned's up to and what he's doing on, and there's a lot. There is a lot, and it was very jarring at first to hop back and forth between characters so much, but I got used to it eventually. But it threw me back a little bit. And just a reminder, this is from a point of view of someone who hasn't read since high school. So, none of what I'm saying, I want to hurt the book at all. Like, I get it. It's just me, my small brain. And I should have started on something smaller first, and then work myself up to this. I think I'm definitely gonna, go back and reread this and then read the rest of the books. I got the rest of the books back there. Hi. And some of the characters I really just don't care about. Like, I understand each there's a reason for each character's point of view, each chapter's point of view, but sometimes I really don't care. This might be a little controversial, but Dani, I just don't care. I couldn't care, and her chapter is not gonna lie, kind of grossed me out. It if you watch the show, I watched the first season of the show. I'm trying to read the books and watch the show kind of at the same time. But if you watch the show, you know what happens to Dani in the first season. And I think she's 16, which doesn't justify it, but it's not as bad as the books, because she's 12. I'm pretty sure she's 12 years old in the books. And a lot more happens in the books to her, and it genuinely grossed me out. I'm not even gonna pretend that I enjoyed. Every time I got into a Dani chapter, I kind of just wanted to, I'm not gonna lie, just grind through it to get back to what the fuck Ned was doing, and John, and Arya. I love Arya. She's a great, phenomenal character. And Tyrion's my dude. I liked him in the show, but I always, like, he was, like, of course you're gonna like him in the show. He's such a likable character. But in the book, you get to see, like, what he's actually, like, what's going on in his mind, or how he thinks, and like I'm not giving the book any flack for the things that I didn't like about it, because it's all about, for me, all the things I didn't like was all just personal preference. I really couldn't care less about Dani and her situation. I understand how important Dani's chapters were to the overall story, but it wasn't there for me. I couldn't care. I don't think I really regret getting into a giant Goliath of a book like this, because it just
works.
Immersed me. A lot of it's slow. The story and the pacing is a bit slow till like the halfway point, I would say, and then it starts picking up speed pretty quickly. A lot of shit happens all of a sudden, like, oh, okay, we're doing it now. We're in it now, kind of feeling. But I did not mind that at all. I did not mind the slow pacing of the story, because I was able to just immerse myself into the world of Westeros, and it almost felt like a meditation almost, because it just let me just clear my mind and just let me relax and chill and just immerse myself into this really rich story. And that's something I've been looking for a hot second. I needed that. I needed just that break, you know? And I think I found it. I found that break, and I definitely enjoyed it. This also may be a hot take, but I didn't care about Jon much. I didn't care much about Jon in the show. I found his character just very straightforward and very just predictable at times. Like, I knew what he was gonna do. Half of the time, I knew exactly what his character was gonna choose, but in the book, he's younger and he acts like it. He acts like a little kid, which he is. I think he's like 14 at the start. And he acts like it. He acts like a 14-year-old. He makes rash decisions. He's very immature at times. And I can respect that. Honestly, I like him more in the book because he acts like a child that he is. He is a bit of a loser at times. And he has to make some really tough decisions. For a 14-year-old, some really tough decisions. And it's kind of cool to see what's going on in a 14-year-old's mind during, like, in a setting like this. For half of the book, most of the fights aren't even really fights. It's fighting between two characters' wits. There'd be like, hey man, I saw you with that guy. I can blackmail you because I saw him with that guy over there. With this dude, I saw you. I saw you. And then the guy japs back with like, but I saw you over here this time, dude. What you doing, man? I saw that. And then it's just like really cool because half the time you don't really know what these characters are thinking, what their overall plans are, and for most of the book you still don't really figure out like who some people allegiances actually are, who they're loyal to. It's very interesting because you never really know what's gonna happen, and with how this book ended, I cannot wait to pick up the next book. But I'm gonna wait because this is a chonker, but this is the shortest fucking book out of the whole set. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna get some smaller books on my belt first, and then I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna pick up the second book after I get some smaller books on my belt. And I guess that's one good thing that happened. That one good thing of reading a goddamn fucking Bible was that now I can basically read whatever the fuck I want. It was a grind. It took me about a week to read all this constantly. I'm not that fast of a reader. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not that fast. I like to savor my stories. Overall, I'll give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I'll probably honestly, if I was prepared to take on this Goliath of a book, I'll honestly probably would give it 5. I'm not gonna lie. I liked it that much. But 4 out of 5, and once I get back, read it again, I'll probably up my rating. And then again, like, just most of the things that I didn't like about this book is just personal preference and me being caught off guard by it. Because I should have expected it. I should have expected such a Goliath. And all the fucking characters, I constantly had to go back between chapters, like, who the fuck was that? Who was that? Some steward? Someone's fucking cousin? Some brother? Yeah, I had to do that a lot. There's a lot of characters. And in the show, I've noticed they cut out a lot of characters from the first season, because which is, honestly, it makes sense, because they would not have been able to put that many characters in the first season and expect people to catch on with what they're putting down. There's so much shit going on. But, yes, 4 out of 5 stars. Have you read it? Have you picked it up? Are you gonna pick it up? I'm gonna put all the list of all the books that I want to get, or I have already gotten and I'm gonna read. And if you want to pick them up too, sure, go right for it, buddy. You do you. And I'll see you all in the next one.